Echoes of redemption. The sun dipped low over Redemption Ridge, casting long shadows across the dusty streets. Jake and Ironhand and McGraw leaned against the weathered wooden post outside the saloon, his eyes scanning the horizon. His hands, as strong as steel and as gentle as a whisper, rested on his hips. He was a man of few words, but his presence spoke volumes. Evelyn Eve Sinclair rode into town on a chestnut mare, her eyes hidden beneath the brim of a wide hat. She carried an air of mystery, her past a shadow that followed her every step. The townsfolk watched her with a mix of curiosity and suspicion, but Jake saw something different, a flicker of vulnerability. Eve settled into the small room above the general store, her mind racing with memories she wished to forget. She had come to Redemption Ridge seeking refuge, but the past had a way of catching up. As she unpacked, she found a locket, its delicate chain a stark contrast to the roughness of her journey. Inside was a picture of a man she once loved, now a ghost in her heart. Jake, meanwhile, couldn't shake the feeling that trouble was brewing. His instincts, honed by years of survival, told him that Eve's arrival was no coincidence. He remembered the days when his hands were stained with blood, and he vowed never to return to that life. But the past, like a coiled snake, was ready to strike. Silas Snake Blackwood rode into town with his gang, their presence a dark cloud over Redemption Ridge. Silas's eyes, cold and calculating, locked onto Jake. The two men had a history, one written in blood and betrayal. Silas's vendetta was personal, and he wouldn't rest until he saw Jake broken. Sheriff Tom Grizzly Hawkins, a man as tough as the land he protected, met Silas at the edge of town. "You got no business here, Snake," he growled, his hand hovering over his holster. Silas smirked, his voice a hiss. "I'm just here for a little reunion, Sheriff. Ain't no harm in that." As tensions rose, Jake found himself drawn to Eve. Her presence was a balm to his weary soul, a reminder that even in the harshest of lands, beauty could thrive. They shared quiet moments, her laughter a melody that soothed his restless heart. But the storm was gathering, and peace was a fleeting dream. Doc Bones Carter, the town's wise and kind-hearted doctor, warned Jake of the danger. "Silas won't stop until he's got what he wants, Jake. You need to be ready." Jake nodded, his resolve hardening. "I reckon it's time to settle this once and for all." The sunset on Redemption Ridge casts the town in a crimson glow. Jake stood in the center of the street, his hand steady and his heart resolute. Silas faced him, a sneer on his lips and a gun in his hand. The air was thick with tension, and the townsfolk holding their breath. "Let's end this, Snake," Jake said, his voice as steady as his aim. Silas laughed, a sound devoid of humor. "With pleasure, Ironhand." As the two men faced off, a gunshot rang out from an unseen direction. The sound echoed through the town, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Jake's eyes widened, his fate hanging in the balance. The dust settled, and the townsfolk rushed to the scene. Sheriff Hawkins emerged from the shadows, his gun still smoking. "It's over, Snake," he said, his voice firm. Silas lay on the ground, his reign of terror ended. Jake lowered his gun, his hands trembling. He turned to Eve, who stood nearby, her eyes filled with relief and gratitude. In the aftermath, Redemption Ridge began to heal. Jake and Eve found solace in each other, their bond a testament to the strength found in vulnerability. The town, once a battleground, became a beacon of hope. And so, the whispers of the West carried the tale of Jake Ironhand and McGraw, a cowboy whose hands were as strong as steel and as gentle as a whisper, a man who found redemption in the most unlikely of places. If you are enjoying adventures in the Old West channel, hit the subscribe button for future posts. Oh, by the way, what did the horse say after it tripped? "Help! I have fallen and I can't giddy up."